Hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday, happy hump day. I'm Claire Jones. If we haven't already met, I'm an author and small publisher committed to changing the world for the better through inclusive stories and practices. And I am jumping on today to continue my self-published author series where I go over how to write, publish, and start selling your book in a year in 52 weeks. If you're joining us, please like, comment, share below. Let us know that you're here. And today we're going to continue with improving your writing skills to make sure that we can address the aspects of writing where our skills are not as strong as we want them to be, because there's always room for improvement. So if you're interested in the full rundown of what I'm discussing today, please check out my self-published author 52-week planner. It's very comprehensive, 292 pages. All of the details are at linktr.ee/clairjoyance. Now, you have probably become aware of some areas of improvement in your writing by this point in the year. This series is set on a 52-week schedule. This is episode 29 out of 52, and at this point you may be aware that there's some room for improvement. So maybe commas confuse you, maybe you have a penchant for run-on sentences, or maybe you just keep using the same adjectives over and over and over and over again. So that's completely normal. You're not a bad writer just because you don't know the millions of different nuances of the English language or Spanish, French, Chinese, Romanian, whatever language you're writing in. They all have them. And there are hundreds of thousands of writing workshops, conferences, courses, degrees, associations, and critique groups for a reason. This is why so many exist. There is always something that can be improved in your writing. True perfection does not exist in your writing. We're not aiming for perfection here. That's not the point. And because I'm not a writing coach myself, that's not what I do. My expertise lies in systems, structures, and strategies. I interviewed a handful of coaches in my network when I was deciding how I wanted to approach the publishing process when I was first beginning, and the tips that they gave me were invaluable. If you have any in your own network, any writing coaches, author coaches, book coaches, I would highly recommend that you schedule a call with them and see what kind of nuggets and golden nuggets of information and advice they would be willing to share with you. But the advice that the coaches that I spoke to, they had basically 3 different pieces of advice for me. Number 1 was take at least one writing workshop or class, preferably every year, as continued education. Number 2, read books that other successful authors have written about the writing process. And 3, focus on building an audience of engaged readers. Those are the 3 primary pieces of advice that I got from established writing coaches. Now, I want you to look at education first. Writing workshops, classes, and other types of opportunities for learning the craft are a dime a dozen. They're everywhere. Just do a quick Google and there will be several available to you, whether in person or virtual. The challenge is finding an instructor that is reputable with a demonstrated history of success in the field. You don't want to work with someone who has no evidence of success in the field. And specifically, I want you to look for organizations and individuals who have been in the industry for at least a decade, because the landscape has changed radically since self-publishing has become more accessible during that time frame. They must be knowledgeable about the more traditional standards of publishing, as well as the variety of innovative approaches and options that are available now. It's a key to find that balance between those 2 knowledge sets, because there tends to be a deep divide in the industry between people who subscribe to one camp or the other, and we want to find a happy medium between the 2. So when we're talking about other books that successful authors have written, there are many of these out there, and I ask that you read at least one per year as well. These books that were specifically recommended to me were On Writing by Stephen King and Bird by Bird by Anne Lamott. So I've only read On Writing so far. I have Bird by Bird on my TBR, which is never ending. And it was really helpful to read. And I'm so glad that authors out there have written books like this. So just take a look and find one that aligns with your own vibe, because your vibe is your tribe at the end of the day. So number 3, building an audience. We discussed this in depth in the section on marketing, but I wanted to underline the importance once more. In these interviews that I had with writing coaches, I was told that even if you do decide to go the route of traditional publishing, you will always be the one responsible for marketing and sales. Like, that is ultimately your job as the author, whether you do self-publishing or traditional publishing. You are going to be the primary mover and shaker when it comes to marketing and sales of your book. And this is because readers buy into you as an author. It's all about the personal brand as an author. They buy into your personal brand as well as the individual books that you write. So those are the 3 pieces of advice that writing coaches gave me for improving the writing craft. And that's pretty much it for today. So if you're interested in learning more, because I go into way more depth in my planner, check out my self-published author 52-week planner. All the details are at linktr.ee/clairjoyance. And next time I'll be jumping on to talk about your 5th and last writing week of the year, so that we can have an almost complete draft to refine as we head into the editing process. So we are making progress here. Isn't it exciting? So please remember, in the meantime, that you all have extraordinary stories to share, and I'm rooting for you as you use them to change the world for the better. Take care, everyone, and I'll see you on Friday.